Hi, my name's Kelsey. I am a travel specialist here at Inspiring Travel, and I am one of the Maldives experts.
What is amazing about the Maldives?
The Maldives is unlike anywhere else in the world. It is a unique and iconic destination to travel to. A lot of people will choose it as their one-off, once-in-a-lifetime destination to travel to. Some people are lucky enough to go and visit more than once, but it is picture perfect. It's an amazing destination with so much to offer.
Why should I visit the Maldives?
I think the Maldives definitely needs to be on everybody's bucket list. It is a stunning destination. So from the moment that you are flying in on your international flight and you can see those atolls down below, you know that you are heading somewhere special. It is a gorgeous, beautiful destination with the crystal clear waters, the white powdery sand, and it's just service unlike any other in the world.
What currency do they use in the Maldives?
So in the Maldives, it's quite flexible with the currency. So they do use a dollar rate on most islands. They do have their own currency, but you're not able to change that back once you're back home. So we do say the dollar is going to be the best use out there, just because it's the most flexible. Most islands use it. And obviously, if you don't want to use physical cash, tap away, use the cards. Again, you can use any form of Amex, credit card, debit card.
Do I need a visa to travel to the Maldives? And what are the entry requirements?
So when travelling to the Maldives from the UK, you don't need to complete a visa as such. You can just travel on your British passport. Obviously make sure it's in valid range, which is absolutely fine. They do ask that you fill out an entry form, which is kind of just filling in a little bit about you, dates of birth, passport numbers, where you're staying when you're there. It's just kind of like a little QR code that will come through once you've completed it, and it's easy enough just to show at the at security when you're passing through. But that's about it. Yeah, passport, entry form, which can easily be found online, or we will send that to you. We can help you fill that in, and then you've got those two for entry.
What are the must-visit places and attractions in the Maldives?
So the Maldives is your private island escape. So the must-see places and things to do depends on which island you're on. So once you arrive, whether that be on a speedboat or a seaplane, and you get to your private island, it's all then dependent on what is going on island. So some islands are bigger than others. They will have more activities and facilities. Such as like movies under the stars. You've got sunset dinner cruises, dolphin cruises, lots of diving, lots of water sports. It's all very water-based, but those that don't like water, like I said, you've got movies under the stars. There's exceptional dining experiences, as well as spa treatments, that kind of thing, and you can just kind of get stuck into it. So it all really depends on what island you're on as to what you want out of your experience. So especially if you're traveling with children, if you know it needs to have good children's facilities, then we'll certainly make sure we've got the right island for you with that.
How many islands are there in the Maldives? And is island hopping a common activity?
Well, you'll be surprised to know that in the Maldives there are over 1,100 islands. About 200 of those are inhabited. But yeah, there's a lot of islands to see and explore, which also makes it really good for island hopping. If you're there for, I'd say, longer than 7 nights, definitely make use of the islands. Go and experience different islands. Every island is completely different with its size, its style, what they've got on offer, what they do, what they feature. So yeah, definitely recommend island hopping and making the most out of your longest stay in the Maldives. And it's quite easy to get between the two if you're in the same atoll. You can boat between the two. Some islands will allow seaplanes to go between the two, but failing that, you can always go back to Mali and then hop back out again to your private island. So it's easy enough, but definitely make use of seeing more than one island if you can.
Are there any cultural or local experiences in addition to beach activities in the Maldives?
So on island, you will find many of the staff are worldwide, with the majority being Maldivian. So they will talk to you, they will explain about their cultures and how they celebrate at different times of year. And it's a really good, interesting conversation to have. The majority of people will look into the cultural side of things through food and taste and smells, which is very much a theme on different islands. So yeah, get stuck into the local cuisine. But yeah, definitely it's one to experience through music as well, with the Beverages band. They're usually on island, and they'll usually do a local themed evening tied in with the food as well. So yeah, there's different ways to experience the local cultures. Not so much like you would typically experience just going out of your hotel and wandering to a monument or a historic site. It is very different to that. But yeah, you can experience it in different ways in the Maldives.
When is the best time to visit the Maldives?
So luckily, the Maldives is an all year round destination. So you're always going to get those gorgeous temperatures. It's a tropical destination, so it is year round. You can experience some rainfall between, I'd say, end of July through to about September, early October. So if you want to avoid rainfall, avoid kind of the UK summer. But that's not to say it's a no-go and don't travel at that time. I mean, I myself have done 2 weeks in the Maldives in July, and we had 2 weeks of solid sunshine. So it's very hit and miss. And usually with it being a private island, you would have a rain cloud that would come, have a shower for about 15-20 minutes, and it would soon pass. So, and sometimes with the humidity and with the temperatures, it's quite a welcomed experience to have a tropical shower.
Are there any weather-related concerns to be aware of when visiting the Maldives?
The weather-related concerns, I mean, apart from obviously you wanting to make sure that you're going to get the best sunshine while you're there, that's the whole reason for the escape. I mean, some people would generally think about you being on a private island. Are there going to be any tidal waves and that kind of thing? But to be honest with you, surrounding the private islands, you've got the corals and the reef breaks. So generally that would slow those tides right down. And generally closer to the island, it's more of a lagoon feel. So no worries on that part at all. It is, they are protected, and they do kind of structure it well on certain islands to avoid any tidal waves, that kind of thing.
How does the weather affect water activities in the Maldives?
Okay, so let's say you are on a soggy day, and generally with a soggy day, it can be a little bit choppy. So generally speaking, that wouldn't be an ideal time to, say, take guests out and go diving or, kayaking or that kind of thing. It's not ideal circumstances. That's not to say that some islands would say, no, we're not going to do it. You could still do it, but it's just not the best. So sometimes you might get the odd choppy days that might affect certain activities, but push that aside, there's plenty more activities and there's more things to do on island. So you're never going to be stuck for something to do, come rain, shine. You'll be fine, you'll be well looked after.
What are some traditional Maldivian dishes to try during my visit?
Okay, so Maldivian food really takes influence from India, Sri Lanka, East Asian kind of dishes and spices. So it's all kind of coming together. Obviously the big one out there is fish. They've got a lot of fish. It's a lot of fish in the nearby area. So you will find that there's a lot of fish dishes, and they will use all those herbs and spices, fish soup being one of them. which is quite traditional. But then you've got like a lot of fish dishes with fresh vegetables, with a lot of fresh vegetables that are grown on island. And they would generally try not to import those fresh ingredients, and just purely because they have got the areas on island to grow them. So definitely fish is a really good one out there. But if fish is not your bag, then they do have some great beef, chicken, meat dishes, again with those blends of spices and herbs and what have you, just to kind of get those taste buds going.
Can you recommend seafood restaurants in the Maldives?
Seafood restaurants in the Maldives are in abundance, so you're never going to fall short of a fresh fish of the day. In terms of the restaurants as such, one to recommend, I mean, most recently when we went to Four Seasons, Landagirabaru, they've got the Blue Bar there, and they've got a lovely restaurant at the end of the beach, which is stunning, gorgeous sunset views, and they do a catch of the day. The fish there is exquisite, and it's really meaty, so just what you want after a good day out. But yeah, no, the seafood generally in the Maldives is amazing. Everything's caught freshly that day. You can get a lot of chefs that would take you out in the morning, and you can go fishing with them, catch of the day, and then they will cook it for you fresh for when you get back. So yeah, it is a really good destination, an amazing destination for seafood.
Are there vegetarian and vegan food options available in the Maldives?
So generally speaking, most dietary requirements are covered in the Maldives, and especially with the islands that we have within our portfolio, they do cater well for guests with dietary requirements, with special requests, and we can always work with the island to make sure that's accommodated prior to arrival. Generally speaking, vegans, vegetarians are very well catered for, because you've got the herb gardens and the fresh produce that's grown on island, and it's packed full of flavour as well. So you're not going to be missing out just purely on that, just if you don't eat the fish or meat or whatever you're catering for. It's generally accommodated on island, and we will obviously point you in the right direction of the best island for that. There's plenty of choice out there.
What are some popular beverages and cocktails in the Maldives?
So the popular beverages and cocktails, I think it's really whatever's your tipple. I mean, cocktails are always a great one. When you've got the sun beaming down on you, your feet are in the sand, and you just want a cocktail like a mojito or a cosmopolitan or something really refreshing. Yeah, cocktails don't fall short in the Maldives. As well as if a beer's your bag, or if a nice champagne or a lovely bottle of wine, the choice is yours.
How can I enjoy a Maldivian beachfront dining experience?
So generally on island, a lot of them will have a feet in the sand experience dinner, and that would be within one of their restaurants. However, for something just a little bit more special, I would ask our concierge team to help you with a private dining setup. It doesn't mean that you have to be celebrating anything in particular. You're celebrating the fact you're in paradise. So get your feet in the sand, arrange a private dining experience, whether that be on the beachfront of the island, or do something a little bit extra. Get your boat out. They'll take you to one of the private sandbanks and arrange a private sandbank dinner for you there, just for the 2 of you, 3 of you, 4 of you, whoever you're travelling with. A private sandbank dinner is definitely the way to go.
What are the top-rated islands in the Maldives?
So the top-rated Maldives islands, we've got plenty of them in our portfolio. Again, it's all really dependent on what you're looking for. So there is the top hotels. Some of them are larger islands. So say like Four Seasons, Landagirabaru. which would have a lot of activities and facilities for you to get stuck into. But then some people like to have a smaller, more intimate. So the top then with that smaller, more intimate feel would be somewhere like Maldives, which again, they're both actually in the same atoll, but they are top hotels. They pride themselves on service, on their quality. But again, it's just that different size of islands. One has more activities catered to than the other. So it's just obviously getting that island right. But yeah, top rated, we've got a lot. There's Four Seasons, there's Ritz-Carlton, there's Velar, Maldives, Barros, Amila, on and on and on and on. It literally goes on and on, but we're here to make sure you get the right one.
Which island is considered the best for a honeymoon in the Maldives?
So for a honeymoon, generally, you don't want to be around children. And you kind of just want to be in your own little honeymoon bubble, your love bubble, just the two of you. So personally, I think the best island for that is going to be Maldives. I know I've mentioned it before, but it is one of the top islands. Generally, they don't allow anybody under the age of 12. They don't have much in the way of families. It is more catered around the adults. They have huge beach villas, huge overwater villas with your private pool. If you want to be on the beach or if you want to be on the water, they have that option for you, as well as having that real personalised service. So they like to know as much about you before you get there, your likes, your dislikes, what you want to get up to while you're there. And then obviously they'll cater that around you. So generally I think for honeymoons, my go-to would be Maldives, just purely for that kind of bubble experience.
Can you recommend the most beautiful island in the Maldives?
Okay, so they are all very beautiful. Let's put that out there. They are stunning. However, personally, I would have to say Velar Private Island is out there. It's very polished, immaculate. It's got that kind of private island experience with that enhanced luxury experience as well. So very well catered for. The beaches are stunning. The views are magnificent. It's a very exceptional experience there.
What factors should I consider when choosing the best Maldives island?
So when choosing your island for your holiday, I would definitely say you need to consider what you want to do when you're there. Are you generally more an active person, so you like to have a lot more things to do? Or are you purely going to fly and flop? Are you a foodie person? Do you need a number of food and beverage outlets? Water sports, is that your bag? Is that your thing? And we will obviously go through these questionings with you. Also down to seaplane and speedboat. Is that a factor? Have you got a preference? Some people don't like the seaplanes. Some people have a fear of boats, so again, this all plays into it when we are doing the selection process with you, just to make sure we are getting that right island.
Which island offers the best water villas and overwater bungalows in the Maldives?
So from experience, when I travelled out to the Maldives, I was absolutely blown away by the Jawali overwater villas. They are huge. So even if it's just for the two of you, you've got this huge space to play around in. And then outside, you've got the huge terrace with the net that you can just lie in and watch the sunset. You've got your own private infinity pool, not plunge pool, it's a pool. And you can easily get down the side of the villa into the water and explore the lagoons. So there's so much marine life going on. And then within the villa itself, you've got the huge high ceilings, marble, kind of some homely touches in there as well. It is stunning. So for overwater, my recommendation would be Jawali.
Can you recommend some lesser known islands to explore in the Maldives?
So generally from your hotel island, you can go and explore some of the more private escapes. So like the sandbanks. So you get on the boat and you can go and explore the sandbanks. or some of the inhabited islands as well, where you can maybe set up with a picnic or a dinner or something like that. But yeah, generally speaking, from your resort island, there are some sandbanks and inhabited islands to go and explore nearby, which is a really good experience to try.
Which islands in the Maldives are famous for water sports and activities?
So they've all got some water sport element to them, whether that be diving, non-motorised, motorised, but they all offer a little bit something different. So not all islands have the motorised option, but some do it better than others. So Anantara, for example, is a fabulous island and has a lot of water sports involved. For me, I was able to jump on a jet ski and explore the whole of Anantara on a jet ski, which was a really unique and amazing experience.
What are the different areas or atolls in the Maldives where I can stay?
So within the Maldives, there are 26 natural atolls, which run in a long, thin line. If you look on the map, it looks like a long, thin line. So generally speaking, you've got different atolls running from north to south. Obviously, dependent on where you stay, really depends on if you prefer to get a seaplane, you'll be able to go to the ones further afield. Speedboat, you're going to be getting the ones closer to Mali. So generally speaking, you can get those a little bit closer.
What area is best to stay in Maldives?
So generally speaking, every area in the Maldives has a little bit of something different. So say, for example, like the Bar Atoll, you've got the UNESCO site Hanifaro Bay, which is great for manta spotting. So the Bar Atoll is great for more marine life. You generally find a lot of underwater photographers in that area, whereas like the southern atolls, if they like a little bit more of an adventure, maybe a little bit of surfing. Yes, you can surf in the Maldives. You'd generally find that more down in the southern atolls. So I suppose it just really depends on what you're wanting to get out of your stay. Again, depends on where you're located. But they're all amazing. They're all beautiful. So.
Is it better to stay north or south in the Maldives?
There's no real plus point to staying north or south. I think generally speaking, like I said, the water can be a little bit more choppier in the south. You might find that there's more marine life to explore up in the north, that might then migrate at certain times of the year down to the south. So you're not really getting anything more or less from staying north or south. It's purely just down to what time of year and what you're actually going for. I think generally speaking, you're not going to be disappointed whether you're in the north or south.
How many days is ideal to spend in the Maldives?
So it really depends on what you're doing throughout your whole trip, whether that be tying it in with another destination like Sri Lanka or the Middle East. A lot of people will tie it in on their way through and then stay in the Maldives at the end. And then generally speaking, people would then do 5 to 7 nights at the end in the Maldives just to kind of flop and chill. But if Maldives is purely your only destination for the holiday, I'd probably say anything between 7 to 14 nights. The longer you stay, definitely island hop and make most of that, and split your stay over 2 islands just to make the most of your experience.
Where in the Maldives is ideal for a family vacation?
So in any part really of the Maldives, you will find some really good family islands where they've got a lot of activities and a lot going on for the kids. They love the island experience. Generally speaking, the Saniba brands, most particular Saniba Fushi, is a fabulous Robinson Crusoe, feet in the sand island that do cater for families and children very, very well. They've got one of the biggest children's club within the Maldives with the huge slides. They've got their little nooks and little book nooks and drawing areas, and they'll take the kids out on the island and do a bit of exploring.
Which resorts or hotels offer the best all-inclusive packages in the Maldives?
So all-inclusive in the Maldives, there is quite a lot of islands to choose from. Keeping it luxury, our firm favourites are the Ozon brands. So we've got the Ozon Mardu, and we also have Ozon Bolafushi, as well as we also have the Lux South Atoll. Those are our firm favourites, I'd say, with all-inclusive, and well worth it.
Are there eco-friendly and sustainable accommodation options in the Maldives?
Yeah, I think generally speaking now, with the way that the world is, and obviously everybody's very conscious about doing their bit for the planet, the Maldives really does try to go that extra mile, especially with the islands that we have in our portfolio, reducing the number of plastic or no plastic at all, recycling of the food waste. Some islands have their own recycle centres as well, so they are really conscious of that and want to make sure that they are doing the best for the planet.
What are some exclusive experiences available in luxury Maldivian resorts?
So if you want that extra exclusive feel, definitely go for one of the private dining experiences. There's nothing like it in the world, especially when you're out on a private sandbank, or even if it's within your own villa, or some of them will have their own private jetties. That really just give that exclusive feel. And it's a really nice experience to have within the Maldives, whether you're celebrating or not. It's well worth having that kind of private, intimate feeling around your dining. And it is a beautiful setting, so definitely well worth considering. And obviously myself and our team are on hand to point out those best areas of where we recommend. As well, away from food, again, private boat trips, whether that to be see the dolphins, the mantas, everything can be arranged privately to really give you that exclusive feel. So yeah, nothing's too much of an ask.
What should I consider when choosing between an overwater villa or a beachfront bungalow?
So again, it's down to personal preference. I mean, everybody's got this idea that they want to go and try and overwater, and that's absolutely fine. The overwaters are great for those that just want to kind of run down the steps in the morning and take a dip and see what marine life is right out there in front of their villa. There's a lot of marine to see and a lot of exploring to do when you are over water. Just consider, obviously then going back to the main island, some jetties are longer than others, so you might find that either the walk back or cycle back to the mainland might be a little bit longer. It might not be for you because you're constantly calling buggies if you don't like bicycles. So it all really depends on you. The beach is a great location just to literally walk out of your villa, feet in the sand, and the sea is right there. So you're never too far from the sea, and the sea's like a bath. So it's a really, really nice way to just kind of wake up, walk along the beach, and then you're right in the sea, having a nice morning swim before breakfast. So there are pros and cons to both. Obviously with the beach, if you don't like sand, well then, it's not really a great place to be. But again, if you don't want to do the island hopping, but you are there for a longer period of time, split your stay, experience both, start in the water, end in the beach, or vice versa, just so you are making the most of your stay and getting the most of your experience.
How can I book a private island resort in the Maldives?
Well, firstly, you need to ring Inspiring Travel and speak to one of our specialists. And then really we'll take it from there for you. So obviously we'll go through the questioning, what you're looking for, how you want your stay to look, and then we will obviously get in touch and point you in the right direction of what islands to consider. We'll obviously give you our recommendations, and then we can pretty much take it from there for you. We have got many private islands which you can take on solely for sole use of your own. And that is something that we can help tailor and make sure is perfect for you, for what you're looking for. We'll make sure the right staff are on island for you, for what you're after. The cuisine is all taken care of. Any likes, dislikes, we need to know all that before you go. And we'll just make sure that every single detail of that trip is taken care of.
How can I plan a Maldives trip with children?
So when it comes to travelling with children, I think there's a few factors to consider. Obviously, you want to make sure you're getting an island with some sort of children's activities and that they accommodate for children, as well as having your transfers close by. You know, if the children don't like longer durations or longer journeys, then obviously make sure that you have got the islands that are a little bit closer to Mali. I would also then say on a childcare side of things, you want to make sure that you are getting the islands that do have either the babysitting services or creche facilities, or you know, that can take the children out and do a bit of educational learning with them. So I think there's a lot of factors to consider when travelling with children, but it's fine. Everyone's there to have a good time. It's easy. We will take the stress away from you.
Can you recommend some must-visit underwater restaurants in the Maldives?
So yeah, underwater restaurants is definitely an experience I recommend, and if your island has it, then great, go for it. There are a couple that I can recommend just from my personal visits. So Mardu, which is one of the Platinum All-Inclusive Islands, it's reached by speedboat, and they have M6M, which is their underwater restaurant, and they generally do that during the lunch periods. There's just a little bit more to see and a lot more marine life, and then the scuba divers will go down and do a bit of a, you know, waving and kind of put any messages, that kind of thing. It's a really, really nice experience. And generally speaking, if you don't eat fish, don't worry. They do have a fish and a meat menu there, so you can choose between the two. But a really, really good experience, and it's actually included at the Ozen, so there's no worries of any additional charges. Another one which was really, really good was also at the Anantara Kiava. So that was the resort with amazing water sports. It's reached by seaplane, but they do have an underwater restaurant there. Again, similar sort of concept. And you're down there and you can see all the marine life. Sometimes put a little bit of a show on during the lunch times. So there are underwater restaurants, and if that is important to you, then we'll certainly point them out and let you know which ones are going to be the best.
What wildlife and marine life can you see in the Maldives?
So you're not going to be short on marine life. There's going to be a lot of marine life to see, whether that just be literally from stepping out of your villa and seeing obviously what's swimming around nearby, or taking a diving trip just to go further into the reef, or you can take the boat trips to see the mantas or the dolphin cruises. There's plenty of marine life to see.
Is December a good time to visit the Maldives?
December is a really good time to go to the Maldives because you're in the height of season, so the weather's going to be good. The islands are thriving with all the Christmas and the festivities, and they really do it well out there. So if you are looking for a Christmas escape or a New Year escape, then the Maldives should definitely be on your list of destinations to visit. They'll have Santa coming in on a jet ski or flying in from above. Yeah, they really go all out. They'll make sure that the kids are really well looked after. Christmas trees in your villas if you want Christmas trees in the villas. Presents, you know, they do the wrapping services. So anything that you need really around the festive time, they will really look after you. New Year celebrations are iconic out there. Usually it's kind of like a competition of who can throw the best bash and celebrate the New Year in style. Some islands are known to bring in some real A-list celebrities. I mean, I know they've had like Rita Ora out there, they've had a couple of the Spice Girls have been out there. to name a few, to name a couple. But yeah, no, definitely it's kind of a bit of a competition as to who can throw the best New Year's Eve gala. So yeah, definitely put it on your list of an escape to do.